Sorry, everyone. Sorry. I was getting distracted because my Nightbot wasn't working, but now it looks like it might be just a little delayed. So, whew.
Your hat is...
I know, it's not. It doesn't stand up as good as the captain's. It doesn't stand up as good as the captain's, but yes. It is Thursday, or as we like to say,
Friday Eve.
That's right.
Sounds better.
Sounds better, right? Man, and I tell you what, I know usually when I'm not sitting behind the desk working my corporate work, I'm doing PCAT stuff, but I've been doing overtime this week because we're so far behind at work. Like we usually get 18 to 20 something files a day. We're getting 130 a day. And we've been getting that for like the last week and a half. And so they authorized OT. So I've been from, 7:30 a.m. until 6 p.m. every single day working files for that OT. Got to get that cheddar so I can go on another cruise.
You might want to invest yourself in a rubber stamp. Approved.
Right? Except today I had more like the red stamp. Decline, non-renew, decline, non-renew, 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 non-renew. Like the last 6 files I did today in OT, I non-renewed every single one of them.
Just flip a coin.
Such is the nature of life.
Yes, it is. It is. But welcome, everyone. Welcome. Today is our first day back into the cruise line, #cruise line conversations. And we thought it would be a good idea since cruise season is, upon us. And if you haven't gotten trip insurance or even thought about travel insurance, it's usually not too late to get it. For your trip. So we're going to kind of break down a little bit pros and cons, give you some real life experiences on having it and not having it. If you guys have any questions, again, throw them in the chat. We'll try to get them answered. If we don't have an immediate answer, I've got a plethora of stuff I can go through to
You
find
like using that word.
Plethora. I like it because the three amigos. Would you say I have a plethora of piñatas?
It's a veritable cornucopia of information.
Plethora. Oh, yes, el guapo. You have a plethora.
Oh, my gosh. I haven't seen that movie.
This little brain right here, it stores all those movie quotes.
Like, right. This section right here is nothing but movie quotes.
Yes. But I digress. I think we need to welcome some peeps in. What do you say?
Let's see who's the first person in.
We have Danny. I was getting ready to say spectacular supporter. I know the name's going back, but super supporter. Danny, I made this just for you, and Mel rolled her eyes, but I think it's cute.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Yes,
I digress.
You were the first one in. You beat Scott.
True.
Yes, you did.
That's quite an accomplishment.
Yep.
All right. Fuzzy Adventures and More is in.
Welcome to the party, pal.
And I understand you're up to 100 subs on that channel, so that is awesome. Yeah, make sure you do #PKAT. Looks like it is working, just a little delayed maybe.
Knitting with Cheryl and Family.
Woohoo! Welcome!
Do you want to banana? Feeling down.
He has fun putting those together.
I do have fun putting those together.
So. Here we go.
Oh, and then we have Rob, one of our members.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Literally just got this one for you, Rob.
I approved it. It was funny.
And Mel approved it.
The king in the north.
The king in the north.
Oh my god.
Excellent. Who else do we have coming in here?
Wow, I actually catch you live. Yeah.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
I know. Which is awesome. Whoop, 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 whoop. Wait, do this. We're getting all excited for the live. Awesome. Who else? What do we got? Officially, yes, made it to 100. That's awesome. Yeah, that is awesome.
Very cool.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I know. That's hard, man.
Yeah. Once you get to that 100, then it starts to come easier a little bit anyway.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys watched the Go Live this morning, definitely prayers for Cheryl and family. They definitely have some trials and tribulations happening over there in the personal life. So yeah, hearts go out to you, and hopefully, got to look down and smile and give you guys some sort of positive resolution for sure. Yes, we are.
We always have a good time.
That's right. You never know what might come up. Cheryl, you are lucky, Cheryl, that I did not move the video to this computer for my news story that I gave you guys this morning that was played on the morning show. Otherwise, I'd be playing that right now. But I don't have it on this one. CJ, you would get a kick out of my masterful edits on what she said in her live. I might actually have to go upload it on the other one just so I can play it.
Scott is here.
Oh, Scott!
Scott, the man, the myth, the legend.
Excellent.
Onward. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. Hopefully it was. Whoop, whoop.
Right.
I got a lot of comments to go through.
I know, right? Who else we got? Oh, there we go.
Yo, yo,
Hey, there's the man.
Eddie, the man, the myth, the legend, part 2.
Yo, Brooklyn in the house.
I hope you guys had fun on your anniversary the other day.
Yes. Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Who else we got? We got Cheryl still in. Everyone saying hi to one another. So
Yep.
awesome.
Because you ain't no captain, right? He's an honorary captain.
Hey, I have the video evidence proof that Captain Billy J made me an honorary captain, sir. Welcome in, Cruising Complete. Welcome in.
That's all we have. So we don't
I
get
know, right?
yeah.
Cheddar nachos. Wait, did I say nachos? Cheddar.
Cheddar.
Oh, noicho? Hashtag nocho? Noecho? I don't know what you
No
mean.
echo.
No echo.
Oh, no echo. Yeah. It was definitely, we figured it out. We're not sure what happened, but it was definitely something with the setup. I think with CJ and Christine, for whatever reason, last week, your microphone was being all funky. And I think that's what we figured out was
Eddie
the
says
issue.
hello.
Wow.
Hi, Eddie.
Hi, Eddie.
And that guy next to you.
Wow.
Woo,
Cool.
Tiffany's here.
Cool.
Hold on.
Hey,
Hello.
welcome in, Tiffany. Thanks for stopping by tonight.
We have lots of people, lots of comments. Sorry.
Yeah. It's popping tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, while I'm looking through, you can start explaining what we're talking about. Oh, we already did that. Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Well, we mentioned it.
I'm still going through comments.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So speaking of which, we are talking about insurance tonight.
JJ Adventures.
Oh, welcome in, JJ.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
Yes, we are going to be talking about travel insurance. So the poll that's up is yes, you get it. No, you don't. Yeah, I get it sometimes, or I didn't, but I sure as heck am going to do it after we have our discussion today and school yous in insurance.
Yeah, because you got an insurance
Yeah,
expert.
so just like last week, the bugs were Christine's jam. Insurance is my bread and butter.
Eddie says insurance.
Yeah. I know. I don't know why I'm crazy right now. I don't know why when I get in these lives, I get so much energy.
Uh-oh.
Media assets.
I saw that.
Once it happens, it's got to happen.
No. Oh, God,
Once
no.
it happens, it's gotta-
Burrito, chicken burrito, chicken burrito, burrito, burrito.
Good thing I already had dinner. Otherwise, that would make me hungry.
Right?
We had chicken burrito
We actually had chicken burritos.
with rice.
Mel made a chicken rice in the Instapot yesterday. We had so
I had
much
to cook
Yeah.
this past week.
because I'm working, so I'm not cooking. So she's cooking.
You learned how to cook for the first time. All right.
Yeah.
I Googled it.
So we
Wow.
took for leftovers tonight because we had so much. Yeah, we took the chicken cheesy rice that she made, in the Instapot and just do it in burrito wrappers. So technically, we did have chicken burritos tonight.
I mean, you could throw anything in a burrito wrapper and call it a burrito. I mean,
Yeah.
let's be-
I know, right?
And
Welcome in, Linda. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
Yeah, you
Hans.
did.
Welcome to the
Yeah,
party,
you did.
pal.
I did. So
JJ, Eddie, everybody saying
Yeah,
hello.
saying hello.
How Eddie Scott is one who says he beats us into a chat. Oh, I guess there is a fight of who's the first person to chat.
yeah, and since there's not a top chatter anymore in most of them, now it's whoever is the first in the chat. So some of us, me included, might go in
Wait.
an hour and a half early and put the first comment.
So that
Wow.
only lasted for a day or so
What?
before they pulled that down?
No,
The top-
it's still there for
Oh, I
ours.
see it now.
Just
No,
in the morning shows, they would actually bring up Nightbot to see who the top chatter was.
Ah.
But then that became a war to where, yes, I was part of the craziness.
Mhm.
All right. Well, while Mel's going through there, she'll let us know if there's anything that pops up.
I'm trying to get to the bottom.
I know, right? But we will get started. So,
Sure.
travel insurance. What is it? What do I need it for? Well, travel insurance on the top level is there to help protect you for those unexpected situations that might cause issues when you're on a trip. Whether it be a cruise, whether it be a land-based vacation, whether it just be taking a plane ride to visit someone, there's always the possibility that something could go wrong. And a lot of times you're responsible and out of pocket, you know, should something happen, should you have to cancel last minute or something like that. So part of travel insurance is to help protect your investment. And then depending on what type of travel insurance you get, it adds extra benefits like lost luggage and medical and emergency evacuation, sometimes even rental car insurance for foreign locations. So there's a lot of pluses and minuses with that.
Lodging reimbursement. That's
Yeah.
big.
There's some credit cards that actually offer insurances for your rental cars too. Just thought of that.
Yeah, there are. So that's kind of what we're going to dissect a little bit in tonight's show is travel insurance. We're really going to break it down into, like we just talked about, some of the overall protection. But then there is some.
Sorry, I missed
Oh.
CNS.
Oh, welcome in, Sherman. Thanks for coming in. I was like, she's just starting to press buttons on me. What's going on?
Oh, wait, one more.
Oh, one more? Zach! Yes, I wasn't delivering packages today, but I'll try to later tonight. I owe like Texas Cruiser for sure.
Hello.
and he did get the Arctic water bottle like yesterday or the day before.
Oh,
so,
cool.
so we're all good with that. So yeah, so and then like I said before, I was rudely interrupted. There's cruise line based travel insurance, which we'll talk about pros and cons of that, and then there's third party travel insurance, and then there's technically a per trip insurance, or if you travel a heck of a lot, there's actually annual plans as well.
Yes.
I think your parents have that, don't they?
Yes. Roger and Kathleen absolutely have an annual policy.
Do you have any clue what that covers or anything? Any idea?
Actually, I looked into it when we were doing all of those.
We looked at it at one point, so
Yeah.
it covered pretty much the same thing your individual policies did. It was just a blank. It was a blanket.
Right.
Across a larger time frame. So it wasn't that there was greater or lesser coverages per se. It's just like deductibles and coverage amounts you wanted to select for it. But it's pretty much the same as individual policies, just again on an annual basis.
Yeah.
Yeah, most policies,
that's
policies, when you do book it, individual policy, you do have dates on it. So it
Mhm.
it controls the risk in those dates.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so obviously, I guess we can always talk about this right now because we won't talk too much about annual policies, but it's a good time to go ahead and chat costs.
I
Obviously,
wish I had
That's the
that
big,
problem where I had all the cruises
I know,
booked
right?
for a whole year.
Yeah.
Needed that.
But the one thing that you'll definitely note is an annual policy is a hell of a lot more expensive than an individual because it is not greater, but it's still going to be a lot more expensive.
It's certainly more for your initial purchase of it.
Oh, your parents pay
But-
like $250
but-
a year.
Yeah, after you average out, and I think it was about 5 trips, the equivalent of any 5 trips on any given cruise line throughout the course of a year, it came in well under the cost of getting it from through the cruise line. So I wouldn't say it was. It might be more upfront, for you to buy, where you see, oh, it's $200 here for this one cruise, as opposed to maybe spending $800 for it annually, and that you got to shell out right away. That
Right.
as soon as you have the multiple trips, that becomes a cost value equation that's very doable.
Yeah, definitely. And it's been a while since we looked at it. I mean, we're talking 2022 when we were
Yeah, it was
really
post-COVID.
booking a lot.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, there was an initial cost,
Mhm.
and then each trip, if you wanted like cancel for any reason or something specific for that trip, there was a slight additional upcharge if you wanted something more than what your initial blanket coverage was.
Yes, that
I kind of remember there was something like that.
the policy we were looking at that time, which is the one that my parents utilized, did have an ability to bump up for specific things. Like I wouldn't take the same kind of coverage for just a weekender out of Canaveral to the to Nassau that I would for traveling into Norway in September. So
Right.
yes, want to adjust my coverages, and if that bumped or had a slight premium difference accordingly, that's why that exists.
Yeah, definitely. Whoop whoop!
Woo!
Look at that!
That's right.
I buy shares just so Ryan can cancel
Which
it.
one we went to?
Let's do. Hang on. Do this one. That's a new one. This one I just made.
Chicken
and-
burrito. Chicken burrito. Chicken burrito. Burrito. Burrito.
Oh man,
Right? I love it. The rotisserie chicken dancing and the burrito dancing next to
Oh.
me.
I saw you
It's
working on
amazing.
that, and I was wondering what you were working on.
yeah. It's like, what is he wasting his time on now? No, oh, never mind.
I see now.
Thank you, Rob. We do appreciate it.
Sorry, it's taking me a while to get through the comments here.
I know, right? Well, don't go too fast. Just see so you can see if there's anything else. But yeah, so there's your difference between the individual and the annual. So definitely. All right, so I guess let's start with before we get into the nitty gritty that will be among most of them. I guess we can talk a little difference of cruise line specific insurance versus third party insurance. So, I guess just start with the cruise line. So,
Yeah, makes sense.
Cruise line insurance, for the most part, there are going to be obviously exceptions, but for the most part, cruise insurance is focused on your cruise specifically, and you're getting insurance if you have to cancel your trip
After final payment,
after final payment for a
qualifying event.
well, yes, thank you. I was trying to find. I was getting a little.
I know. I could see it.
Qualifying.
It's like, yeah, I got you.
Edge of my tongue here. But yes, it's got to be a qualifying event. And for everything we talk about tonight, it depends on what type of insurance you get. Not everything has everything. So you'll have some basic coverages, and then you'll have a bunch of upgrades, and obviously that changes the price of what your overall is. So anytime we say, oh, you'll have coverage, if it's a qualifying event based on what you chose in your insurance package as far as what you're being covered for.
Or what that cruise line offers as coverage.
Yes. But really, for the most part, a insurance bought through a cruise line is going to cover the cruise. There are some exceptions, and that is if you bundle, right, cruise and air.
And airfare or lodging.
Or lodging, because some cruise lines, like I know Princess has a few airs and hotels at specific ports. A lot of them are in Europe, but you can get pre and post cruises as well as airfare, and it's all bundled through Princess. If you get insurance, it should bundle everything that you booked through them. So, sorry, I think Mel's going to get candy, or not candy, but treats for Peach because she is just being a little sourpuss right now. But anyway, so that's definitely something to consider. And typically, when you're looking at costs, I've seen it both ways to where the cruise line is more expensive for less coverage. And a third party is cheaper for a heck of a lot more coverage. And I've seen it the opposite way where the third party is more expensive, but the cruise line is cheaper. So it really depends on what you're looking at trying to get covered.
Sorry, she was lost.
Yeah. Is that what it was? She was lost?
She was lost.
She's like blind now, like really blind.
She was lost in the corner.
So, but it's also, if you're looking at booking and you're not booking through a travel agent, usually you can tag it right on if you're booking on the cruise's website right then and there. And it's all just kind of rolled into your package.
Yep, rolled into your total fare price.
Mm-hmm. Hello to Yoda, blessed life.
Oh, hey, Yoda, thanks for coming in.
Hello.
Now, Mel and I have used trip insurance as far as, I shouldn't say used, but purchased trip insurance. And we've done it directly through the cruise lines when we first started cruising. Mainly that was with Carnival. We were with Carnival at the time. And we just get the trip insurance because at that time we also lived, when we first started cruising, in Georgia. So it was an airfare to get there. And we would always bundle it, do the flyaway program with Carnival, so trip insurance for that. And then we ended up, oh my goodness, David!
Oh,
Thank you.
Yes,
Oh.
thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you.
We have our new member one.
Hey, guess what, babe? Guess what?
What?
We have a new member right there, right there.
Welcome to the madness.
Yes. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for becoming a member of PK Adventure Travel.
Yep. Yep, you get some weird stuff like this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Danny, and welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome.
That was pretty cool, the icon of the seas.
It was.
Yeah.
I know some people, Jeremy, say it looks like a big golf ball, which it kind of does look like a big golf ball. But
I was going to say it had a bit of a golf ball pattern to it, but since we live around the corner from a giant golf ball called Epcot, it doesn't faze me.
Right. And just seeing it from like that, it's not a huge wow factor. But when you're in there and you see the undulating and the way that the lights move when you're inside of it, it actually is kind of a cool effect.
It's pretty cool.
But I get it. Oh, what do we have here? Oh, there you go. So Sherman has the annual pass. There you go. Yep, 3 times a year. Wait, you did it.
Sorry.
3 times a year, possibly take a road trip. Yearly pin has been cheaper than getting. Yeah.
So again, it depends on where and what type of cruising you're doing for that price point. But again, like I said, my parents said 5 was the magic number for them. But I mean, that was a couple of years ago. It could only be 3 now based on the increase in prices to make it price point.
Yeah, no clue.
True. What do we have?
Oh my God! Oh,
he wants to see the dancing one again.
oh gosh!
Chicken burrito. Chicken burrito. Chicken burrito. Burrito.
I have to say that rotisserie chicken has a very good rhythm.
I was going to say
it lucked out that, and I tried to work with the tempo a little bit with the dancing chicken by spacing out a little bit. I think it worked pretty darn well.
That chicken's got sexy legs.
I am so far behind the chat here. Everybody is so chatty today.
Yep.
It's hard to do this one-handed too.
I know, with Peach wanting attention because she still has a little hookworm. She's got a little itchiness, so she's just really needing to be babied right now.
You need to teach Peach how to scroll the mouse.
Yeah.
Right.
On the mouse.
Hey, Ron! Thanks for coming in.
Hey.
Welcome to the party, pal.
So, but anyway, so back to cruise line stuff. So cruise line, a little more narrow than a third party. But again, can be cheaper in some cases. So, you guys have any thoughts? Have you guys gotten it like directly through the cruise line before on any?
We've
of
definitely done a couple through the cruise line, but we haven't taken it on everything. Since we don't fly to a cruise port. We're not worried about that part of it. It's very rare that we do. Most of the time, we're at least the four of us anyway. We're all leaving from Florida, so
Yeah.
AAA will cover my car breakdown to get there if I have to. That's different. But I've personally taken it going out to Bermuda and used it on that particular trip. And I know that our friend Fred really wishes he had taken it a few times.
Yeah.
In his adventures, but didn't.
Yes.
So I generally speaking, unless it's like a dirt cheap weekender throwaway type, and I say throwaway fare because it's a couple $100 a head, and it's not going to break your bank. If something, if you can't get to it or something happens, I say take it. I add it on, each time. We're not doing enough cruising anymore to go with an annual policy right this moment because we're much bigger into camping side right now, and
we're taking further away.
And we're going further away with when we do cruise. Yeah, we're taking bigger, things now than going to Coco Cay 4 to 6 times a year.
Right. Like the big Norway trip, the 2-week Norway trip that's coming up.
Yeah,
exactly. That one's got
type of trip. Like if you're going to spend like a lot of money on a trip, you obviously want to protect it.
Yes.
Yeah, that one has insurance.
In case somebody falls in a turtle hole and breaks their ankle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. So, well, I guess now's as good a time as any to start with the real world example. You want to talk about Fred and the Brilliance? And I can interject, or do you want me to tell the story?
No, by all means, because I have my own when I was in Bermuda and had to use it, and what I got out of it. So by all means, if you want to tackle the Fred, I'll talk about my own experience after point.
Okay, and then later on, Mel and I'll talk about our usage as well. So we had a friend, which if you've watched some of the earlier episodes of our adventures and a little bit in Alaska, Fred is one of the family friends here that goes with us a lot of places.
He's guest star every once in a while.
Guest star, he and his daughter, Sarah. And so we had a pretty big cruise set up for February. Was supposed to be in 2021, but with the whole COVID thing and everything getting shut down, it got moved to 22, right? Or
close to
2020 and moved to 2021.
I don't remember the exact dates. It got lifted and shifted.
It got moved. It got lifted and shifted.
Oh my gosh!
So
you are so wiggly.
That was the first time that the four of us split an owner suite. Yes. And then Fred and Sarah were coming with us in a balcony, and then we were going to do the chef's table and a few other exciting excursions and stuff like that. So we all get there at the port. The four of us, get through lickety split because we have our passports. We've been traveling enough just to have the passport. Fred and Sarah go through. Sarah gets through with her birth certificate, and then they just come to a screeching halt with Fred. And he's looking, and they're looking, and they're like, this isn't a birth certificate. And he says, it says right there, certificate of live birth. And they're like, it says that, but it's not a certified birth certificate. And he's like, well, I literally was on a cruise and used this exact same thing before, and everything was fine. Well, this time it wasn't.
Actually,
isn't that what happened?
What it was is in the state of California, you can get a birth certificate issued by the state or a birth certificate issued by the hospital. If you want to take a cruise, it has to be the birth certificate issued by the hospital. He had the one issued by the state.
Yeah.
There you go. And so it wasn't official in the eyes of TSA.
Correct.
And they basically were like, you're not getting on this ship.
Yep.
So we even tried, if I remember correctly, we tried to get on the phone, tried to call California, try to figure out, is there a way to expedite it? And of course, with that state being the lovely state it is, they're like, no, you got to send it through the paper mail. We'll get to it when we get to it. We'll eventually send it back to you in the mail, and it could be 6 months.
Hi, Kevin. Welcome in.
Woo, welcome in, Kevin. Thank you.
I think. Yeah. It actually, when it's all said and done, I think it took damn near close to a year
For
for them
him
to
to get
get
the right one.
for them to finally catch up from all their being closed during COVID and all the other rigmarole that they made excuses for him to finally get the right one, so that he could go and get a passport finally,
Yes.
which he now has. For the record, he now has.
Yep. Didn't he have to cancel another cruise too? But
Yes.
he was
Yeah.
outside of final payment, so he didn't have any penalties on
Yeah.
that one, if I recall.
No,
He
was.
canceled the day we were leaving.
He was rolling the dice.
Another
That
one?
was going to come in time.
Well, that's
Oh
why.
man.
That's why Fred should always get insurance.
He's been sunk twice.
3
So there you go. So I didn't know about the
3
second one.
times.
I guess
3 times. I didn't know about the other
It
two.
was the brilliance.
Uh-huh.
Right, I
And
remember that.
when the time that everybody was supposed to go when we got the big fancy cabana and Coco K,
Oh yeah.
Oh
we got-
yeah.
nobody could end up coming.
Yeah.
So it's just me and CJ and Haley.
Yeah.
And like
Three
a
of us
16
in an
person.
8-person, beach, the beach club,
Yeah.
the Urge Con,
And then
Yeah.
there was one last cruise that they were supposed to go on. And if you guys remember, 2 days before the cruise, his mom died. And then
Oh,
2 days later,
actually,
his dad died.
that's true.
Yes. I do
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah. But
So that was 3.
those he wasn't denied board for when his parents,
Right.
with the deaths, but because he
Right.
didn't have any insurance on it, because that would have been a qualifying life event or a qualifying event.
Yeah.
He ended up being out. Now, none of those were break the bank cruises, thank God.
Yeah.
They were all like Coco K.
They were all like, maybe 1,500 in total. Now, don't get me wrong, I would be on the floor crying like a baby in the fetal position if $1,500 was gone.
Right. Right.
Not everybody feels that way, obviously.
Well, some of them were even less than that.
And some of
because
them were
they during
some of
COVID
them were
time.
some of them were booked during cheap COVID rates, post-COVID rates, and they weren't taking big fancy rooms. So some of them might have been even a brand, for the
Right.
You're just
Yep.
getting like.
Welcome in, Create and Relate.
Hello.
Sorry, Peachy is just like loving this right now.
Yeah, she likes her belly scratched.
Yeah, she is really into that rubbing.
I know.
Yeah,
At least she's
yeah.
quiet though. She's
That's
not
just-
crying.
But there's an example 3 times. I knew about one. I didn't realize the other 2. I thought he was able to get out of it on the other 2. But
No.
so 3 times dinged without travel insurance and basically paid for a vacation and wasn't able to enjoy it.
Well,
Yes,
even
so-
with that situation, I don't know if the insurance would have covered it, especially if you don't have the proper documentation. So,
Depends.
No, it wouldn't have. But he did get a cruise. What was that? Cruise fare credits or whatever.
I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, future
future
cruise
cruise
credit.
credit.
Yeah.
That's it. He did get that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep her quiet. Otherwise, she's just going to cry in the back. She's just hogging for attention right now.
Because I'm working so long, usually I can mess around during the day and give her some loving, but I've been so busy, I haven't given her attention. And,
Oh,
and
my
she
goodness.
is letting us know about it.
Oh.
My sister had to put Miley down yesterday. That was pretty sad.
I'm sorry. Yeah, fur
Oh.
babies are always the hardest.
No, don't worry. We brought her some ice cream and some candy to drown her car.
Yeah, we appreciate that too.
Yeah. But yeah, so that there's an example again of some situations that might have qualified depending on what kind of insurance you got, and then the definitely hard, I guess, hard reality when you don't have it.
When you don't have it. Yeah, I think had he had third party on the one with the birth certificate issue, he might have had a better luck in getting some sort of reimbursement at that point. But I know our traveling agent at the time, since we weren't agents at the time, went all the way up to corporate in Miami on the phone with Royal and really fought pretty hard to anything, and that's how I think he got the some partial future cruise credit as opposed to the total loss. But it wasn't, it wasn't. It was still a loss when it's all said and done.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, when I was a much younger lad, and I had a much less awesome wife than I do now, I went to Bermuda for a honeymoon. That was my first wife, who shall remain nameless at this point in time. Not that she's watching, but we'll just leave it at that. And she developed a case of pancreatitis on the second day of 3 we were in Bermuda. The ship bumped her off. The doctor said, we can't handle this here. And they bumped her off and hospitalized her in Bermuda, forcing me to need to use my travel insurance to cover the multiple days of lodging that I had to stay on the island so we could then book flight travel back. The insurance reimbursed for a good chunk, but not everything. So it was absolutely an experience where I was like, without that, I can't even imagine where I would have been, because not only was it, did they help with the, to cover some of the lodging, because, try to find a B&B at peak season, for yourself after being bumped off a cruise in Bermuda is not easy, but they assisted with locating as well as the reimbursable assistance. So that was pretty damn useful. And that was my first experience even having a travel insurance, because all my other previous things, I never had anything in my travels for it. So I can't say how valuable it was in that case.
Definitely. And Peachy's getting attention now. So Ron said that's how it is when he gets his belly rubbed.
Kicks your leg too if you get this right spot.
And then Danny's like, there's a foot shake too. And then we got Mike in.
Mike.
Welcome in, Mike. Thanks for coming.
Oh, I guess I can take over my job here.
Yeah, see if there's any questions or anything like that. So anyway, so there's 2 examples. Mel and I will give you our example in a little bit. Okay, so we talked a little bit about cruise line specific. So again, a little narrower. But there really, if your main focus is the cruise itself, or if you book your hotel and air through the cruise line, it encompasses all of it. But for all intents and purposes, most people focus on the cruise itself. So let's talk then third party. And third party is what Mel and I really have been using since I began working at my current company, because we had a pretty decent discount through Travel Insured, which is one of the companies that does travel insurance, annual and standard plans. But we had a fairly reduced rate being employees of my company that we used a lot. And now in Expedia, we can book with the cruise lines directly, but we actually have a third party that we use that ends up being cheaper and more robust. So that's kind of our default now, is using that third party that we can book at the time we book the cruise. But this, as I mentioned, is a little bit more robust, because you can incorporate basically all of your travel from the moment you step out your front door until you step back into the home, which can come in super helpful. Like you guys with going to Norway, I'm sure you're going out a little bit early. You're going to have to get a hotel. You've got flights. Are you doing any of that? Or you're actually trying to fly from here to Europe the day of
Work.
Well, think about it.
Hold on.
When you're flying to Europe,
You're gaining time.
So you take the red eye the night before and you get there the day of the cruise.
So we're gaining a half a day plus. Yeah. However, yes, due to restrictions with work and inabilities to take certain time periods off from work, we are not in a position where we could stretch a day on either side or anything of that nature.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we are required to work on this vacation. It has a condition of being able to take the quantity of time, away from the office, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think we've welcomed in Sail Stillwater yet. So welcome in Sail Stillwater.
Travel Guard, huh? Okay.
Yep. And they say that they rarely travel without insurance. And I couldn't read it because Mel always takes it away before I can read it.
I had it up there, sorry.
Well, Mel skims. She doesn't read. She skims.
Right?
I skim.
Yep. Both charters, it's a must. Yep. How to file fee claims has always been great in paying. Yeah. And I've actually heard Travel Guard. I have heard of that company as well. So, but with the third party,
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. It just happens. It's part of life.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, the third party, I find that I like those more because not only does it have your cruise fare, you can get your airfare, you can get your hotel. It also includes medical, lost baggage, trip interruption. You can add stuff for like rental cars. There's actually a pretty robust package, and you can go from the
It's
standard
cheaper too sometimes.
death in the family, governmental issue coverage. You could add like work related issues, so you could cancel if you can't get the time off vacation or something like that, all the way up to cancel for any reason.
Yeah.
So
There's some policies though you have to book right after, or book the policy right after you book to get the full benefits of the policy.
yes, I was actually getting ready to say that. So thanks for bringing it up. No, that's good. I don't mind. But yeah, like Mel said, sometimes it's within a couple of days. I know there are some that give you about 3 weeks to make that decision. But then after that, you'll still have coverage, but you might lose a few of the benefits. One of the big one is pre-existing conditions for medical. Usually, if you have a pre-existing condition, then you've got to book. If it's a 7-day cruise or a basic plan, maybe within a week. If it's a more robust plan, you might get up to 3 weeks to book it. But if you don't get it within that window, then if you have to miss for a pre-existing condition, that's not actually going to be a covered loss because you didn't get it within the window.
Yeah.
But those are great too. Like you guys were mentioning about your ex-wife and her medical procedure. With the travel insurance, depending on what you get 100,000 all the way up to a couple of million in medical coverage. And not just that, but if you're on a cruise ship, they also have a separate line item for emergency evacuation. If you got to get life lighted off the ship, that's definitely not going to be $100.
No, that is not $100. That is a bit more than $100 Uber ride.
Yes. And we actually, on one of our cruises, I don't think we had a life flight, but we had to make an emergency stop at Puerto Rico on the way back because someone's appendix burst on the ship. On one of our
I
cruises.
remember that.
We had one where we had to swing into Miami close enough in the channel for the medevac to get to the boat,
Yeah.
and then continued the rest of the way up the coast. Yeah, so we've had that happen to us too.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely, getting travel insurance has a lot more benefits, especially with third party, because people don't know this, and you got to check with your own regular health insurance if you have it. But sometimes they'll exclude coverage, in foreign countries, or it's technically getting treated in international waters, and there's a loophole sometimes. Well, you had international doctors, and we don't cover that. We only cover XYZ doctors.
Yeah, we only do in-network, out-of-network, not way out of network.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So before you say, "Oh, I've got health insurance, I'm fine," really need to talk to your provider and specifically say, "Hey, if I get sick or need a procedure done, and I'm in a foreign country or I'm on a cruise ship, does my policy cover that?" So,
And most of the time, it really doesn't.
Yeah. Realistically,
Unless
might.
you're like a senator or something like that, or it doesn't cover that stuff.
Yeah.
Our
All right.
Yeah, our example. Did you already go over our example?
I had not. Would you like to give that one? And funny thing is, I totally forgot until we were literally on the plane coming back home, and then the light bulb went off.
Yeah, we forgot we flew to Niagara. Well, we flew into Buffalo, and then drove into Niagara. But when we flew back from Buffalo to Atlanta with the connection Atlanta, then down to Tampa. And if anybody knows anything about Atlanta's airport, you can be in line to take off. It will take you an hour because you're the 30th plane in line to take off. It is the busiest airport, they say, in the world, or at least in the United States. So anyway, there was bad weather coming through Atlanta. So we actually were doing a
We were circling.
Yeah,
we were in a holding
a
pattern.
holding pattern. And with obviously all the planes, they're starting to build up. And we had to.
I think we were circling for 5 hours over Atlanta.
I don't think
Did you guys have to put your arms out and flap?
Yeah.
We were out there for a while. I don't remember how long ago because this trip was a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it maybe not 5, but I know it was
If
at
it
least
was
3 or
5,
4.
I would have jumped out of the plane by then.
It was either 3 or 4 hours for sure.
You're like Die Hard too, at that point.
Yeah. So
It's funny you should mention that.
so we had to actually get rerouted to South Carolina because we had to refill.
We did. We couldn't circle anymore, so we had just enough fuel with reserves to fly to Ohio and land there for an hour to refuel the
It
plane.
was Charlotte, I thought. South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina.
It was South Carolina, yeah. Ohio was a different time.
Yeah.
So we went to Charlotte and we had a connection flight. So we were told that, and we had checked luggage. We were told everything would be held and everything would not transfer. So when we got back to Atlanta, we obviously missed our connecting flight. And our luggage went home without us.
They still threw it on some random freaking plane and sent it to Tampa.
Yeah. So we had none of our stuff. We had, I think, just our backpacks.
Just our carry-ons.
Yeah. So we ended up getting a crappy hotel. We slept for like 3 or 4 hours by the Atlanta airport and had a horrible breakfast. And we get to the airport. We finally got our new connecting flight. And it dawned on us when we were taking off, we actually had insurance. So we probably could have got a nicer hotel. We probably went and got food somewhere at a decent place and got reimbursed for everything.
Yeah. But to also tag to that, because I'm talking hundreds of flights were grounded.
Yeah.
And they cut off leaving. They just let everyone come in. Like every hotel that was near the airport was booked. Was already booked.
We were in line like 20 people and we just had to take what we were given.
So bad that the hotel's computer system crashed while they were trying to check people in. So we were in line for like an hour and didn't actually get into the room until about 2 a.m. because their reservation systems had crashed.
I remember that now. And we had to borrow like toothbrush and a toothpaste. They were giving out all kinds of little small samples of stuff.
We got little cups and we had to put our contacts in regular tap water solution instead of saline solution.
Because we didn't have anything.
Didn't have my CPAP.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was bad. But
so when you book
yeah,
or when you do purchase insurance, make sure you remember you purchased insurance.
Yeah. But that was a good thing because I think it was about $700 out of pocket when everything was said and done for the extra food and the lodging, and we had to pay, cab fare to get to and from the airport and all that. I was able to get reimbursed for everything.
Yeah.
So
that was nice.
It was very nice.
I'm falling down on the chat, so let me catch up real quick.
Okay.
Atlanta is huge. Huge.
Yeah. It's huge.
Huge. And the funny thing is, I actually have family that lives in Atlanta who wouldn't pick up his phone.
Wouldn't pick up his damn phone. He only lives like 20 minutes from the airport, so we could have just gone and crashed at his place, but he never picked up the phone.
You should have just showed up at his doorstep.
It was 2:00 in the morning. I was so irritated.
What's your point? Family.
I didn't even know he was going to be home or not.
Yeah.
Just take the key from under the flower pot on the porch. You would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Jeremy's here.
Hey.
I know this is technically. Yeah, so Jeremy had chicken burrito for dinner too, is what Cheryl was saying earlier.
A lot of people were talking about what they're having for dinner in the chat.
Yeah.
You started something.
I know.
We didn't get delivery. We had DiGiorno.
Oh yeah, next time we miss the plane in
nice.
Atlanta, we'll come see you, Eddie.
Heck yeah, we'll come see you.
Mm-hmm.
But so anyway, that's our kind of story on the trip insurance and when it came in handy. And typically now, kind of like you guys, if I'm doing a local cruise, I'm kind of crapshoot, roll on the dice.
bones.
Usually, if I'm changing time zones, I think that's kind of our rule of thumb.
Yeah, if we fly for sure. If we're flying, I'm getting trip insurance,
Yeah.
and I'm also booking through the cruise line because generally it's around the same price nowadays. It used to be a lot more expensive, but now it's more in line with doing it
They're
individually. And you get the added benefit of if there's an interruption, the cruise line's going to help you get to the
to
the
the
ship versus you having to fork out the money, and if you have trip insurance, then getting reimbursed later.
True.
So, but that's kind of our deal right now.
Did you have something else you want to add here?
What's
our plan, babes?
Let me see over here and see if I have anything else we wanted to talk about. No, I think I think we're pretty. Let's see how our poll's doing. I'm not Kurt, so I'm not dancing on the pole, but that's Kurt things in the morning. CME, he dances on poles for everyone.
Okay. I'm not against that. I just don't know if it's my personal cup of tea.
Yeah, right.
Well, we appreciate the conversation today. We have a lot of people just commenting today.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. No, so we'll come back and wrap things up in a nice, pretty bow here in just a moment. But I would be, remiss. It's column dancing.
Oh,
column dancing. But I do want to take the time. I know we usually play this once an episode, but again, the World America Thanksgiving Gobble and Go cruise is coming up. And we have still the good rates. We'll have that until the end of July, and then we've got to give the unsold cabins back. But it's still running about $400 a person cheaper, and it's for Thanksgiving. So here's a little info for you.
Are you ready to escape the everyday? Then mark your calendars for November 22nd, 2025, because you're cordially invited on the cruise of a lifetime. We're sailing on the brand new MSC World America, the first MSC ship built just for the U.S. market. This ship is massive, modern, and packed with next-level fun. We will be departing from Miami, Florida, and the first stop is Roatan, Honduras. Has a lot of lush rainforest, but trust me, the snorkeling is the best. Next up is Costa Maya, where you can explore Mayan ruins, or our favorite, a secluded, all-inclusive in the jungle. Next up, Cozumel, a true Caribbean classic with the beach clubs, or helmet diving. Last but not least, we stop in Ocean Cay, MSC's private island in the Bahamas with white sparkling sandy beaches and a lighthouse. And here's the best part, group rates are still way under current prices, but not for long, so make sure you act fast before these prices are gone. Cruise how you want, chill, explore, or go full throttle. Or hang out with Ryan and Melinda from PK Adventure Travels. We'll be right there with you having the time of our life. Book now and make Thanksgiving 2025 unforgettable. And we will see you on the scenic route.
Wait, I'm trying to decipher this. Put that up there really fast. So we got chicken burrito, chicken burrito, chicken burrito, pig bacon, pig bacon, pig bacon.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. But yes, so if you guys are looking to get on the World America, let Mel and I know. If you want to book on your own, you can. It'll be more expensive. But
yeah, our route, why would you go on your own if we can save you $400 a person?
I know, right? But if you're looking to hop on that, let us know. Like I said, we still got a couple of interiors, couple of balconies open.
Yeah, we got one window room left.
Yes.
And it's not just any window.
Yes.
It is actually a floor-to-ceiling window, but there's something extra on it. Go ahead. I know you want to tell me.
I know. It's a secret balcony.
It's not a secret. You just told everyone.
I know, right? Basically what
now
it
you
is.
Gotta book it.
I know, right? Basically what it is, on the icon, They call them the infinity balcony. And it's basically a floor-to-ceiling window that has a horizontal line. And you press a button, and the top window comes down, and it turns into a balcony. So your inside is actually still part of your room with carpet and seating and all of that, but you can put the window down and have a balcony. It's actually called an infinity balcony on the MSC World America. We didn't realize that when we booked it, but then we talked to Cassidy, who's our business development manager, when we were touring the World America, and she let us know that little juicy tidbit. So we have one more of those available.
Yep.
If you want to try an infinity balcony on the World America.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, we can't wait to meet you too, Danny.
I know, it's getting so close. It's getting so close. All right. I guess before we head out, then let me close the poll. Let's see what everyone likes to do here with the good old insurance. Why is that so far behind? Oh, that's because that one's not live. Okay, sorry.
Squirrel
moment. Let's end this poll and let's see what we got. Okay. So, very good. We have 60% of our viewers today who said yes, they get the travel or trip insurance. We have 21% that say no. We have 13% that say sometimes. And we've got 4%, which looks like probably a single person who said they didn't, but they are going to get it now.
Good job.
So
we've changed hearts and minds.
that's right.
Awesome.
That's right.
I have interesting breaking news
Ooh, okay.
that just dropped literally on another screen. For Royal's ship Star of the Seas, they've named Diana Ross as the godmother.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Move over, Drew Barrymore. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what that means, though. The first sailing, she's going to be on there.
Yep, she'll be on there the first sailing. At least for the pre-inaugural, which is like the special invite one, not the actual inaugural for, the regular slum.
Not for us common folk.
Yes. Well, that's cool. That is cool. All right. Final thoughts on travel insurance, anyone?
Buy it.
Get it. Bite the
Yeah.
bullet.
It's a small
Consider it
piece of
part
mind.
calculated as part of your cost of the event, just like you would your casino money. It's a cost of part of the event. Because you don't want to get stuck without it. Get jammed up. It's a bigger cost later on.
So I guess we're in favor of it then, yes.
Yes. Coming from an insurance professional, I've been in the industry for 15 years. Insurance, it's almost like the love-hate relationship, right? That you hate it with a passion because you're spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a year in coverage that you might never need. But let me tell you, the people I talk to who do have the insurance, when they have a loss, they're like, you know what? I take back every nasty thought I had about paying my premiums. Because had I not had that insurance, the $1.5 million loss would have come out of my pocket.
Right.
And so you think of it that way. It's an investment to your peace of mind. And if you need it, it's going to be there and it could make up for it in one loss. Everything you've ever paid and everything you might pay in the future.
Right.
So it's definitely a worldwide or a wise investment to seriously consider getting that. Like I said, especially if you've got flights and stuff like that. I mean, Rob can attest that he booked his airfare through the cruise line and they were able to help him get to the ship when there was a fiasco with his loss or with his airplane getting diverted and late and all that.
Yeah, I remember him talking to you about it.
So, but all right, everybody.
All right, well, make sure you go see Scott tonight at Thursday Trivia.
Yes.
Right.
That starts at 9, right?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Yep. And I know as well, Rob. Rob was initially planning on doing a meetup for his Booze Cruise 3.0 here in Tampa, kind of like what we did for the 2.0, except his flights got canceled. So instead of flying in the morning to where he would be able to enjoy getting here earlier in the day and then the meetup at night, they're like, well, either you can fly in the day before and now you have to have the added cost of a hotel, or you can fly in later that night and miss the meetup. So financially, the better option was for him to just fly in at night rather than getting an extra cost simply to meet up, and say hi for an hour or two. So, But anyway, I digress. Again, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I believe next week's episode, we're going to be talking about pros and cons of weekend cruises, aka short cruises, like 3 or 4 days.
Yep.
We'll focus
Any
on that.
cruise is a good cruise.
Any cruise is a good cruise, but there's always going to be pros and cons, and you should be in the know on what you're signing up for.
True.
So anyway, we'll see you guys again next week. As always, we'll see you next time on.
Cinecraft.
Bye, everyone.